Thank you very much. My today's talk will be about Locust and load testing with Locust. And why Locust? I hold master degree in computer science, so I am sort of programmer, but my master thesis was about testing, and my consecutive work was mostly in testing, software testing area. So I have been testing for more than 25 years now, and much of it was doing test automation and load testing. So for many years I have been using JMeter, and it was primary tool for me. But I am also very big promoter of Python. I like Python very much, and I have been using it like from 2005. So at some point I thought, why? I have Python, very good language. I do load testing, so why don't do both things at once? So I started to look for a tool with Python for load testing, and I found Locust.io as a library. At that time, Locust was not very mature, but like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, my company switched completely to Locust, and now we are doing web load testing, mobile web testing with Locust.io. So my talk will comprise of 4 parts. First part will be Locust.io itself. Then I will show you script. How do you do load testing with Locust? And the last slide will be about mobile testing, because it's very similar. You have to observe several things, but it's very similar. So web load testing is easier than mobile load testing. So I will start with web testing. And first of all, Locust. And Locust as a library. Locust is a library. The first thing you need to know about Locust, it is a library. Why it is important? Because if you use LoadRunner and other tools like JMeter, they are whole frameworks. And with Locust, you don't have a whole framework. You have a library. And if you look at the right-hand side of this slide, you can see here, the picture from Test Automation Engineer, ISTQB syllabus, very good syllabus, I recommend it, by the way. And in this syllabus, very wisely, from my point of view, test automation framework or architecture is divided into 4 layers. Yeah, the test generation layer, test definition layer, test execution layer, and test adaptation layer. And test definition layer is writing test steps. Test adaptation layer is mainly, for example, for page objects, for simulators, API adapters, and so on. And Locust gives you a test execution layer. Well, I would say only, because it's only 1 layer out of 4. But actually, it's very good for people who know how to program. If you know how to program in Python, if you know other libraries, I will show you other libraries we use, you can use very freely Locust, because it's test execution library, and building on top of it, you can do many things. But you need to remember that this is a library, not a whole framework. You need to build a framework with Locust in it, and it needs other libraries. In a while, I will show you what libraries we use with it. And if you are interested with more libraries, there is a very good Git project, Locust plugins, when you can find even more libraries to use with Locust.io. And you have to remember that Locust was invented or written with a view of REST testing. It's not primary use is it's not for web testing or mobile testing. What's the difference? The difference is when you test APIs, when you test REST services, you test endpoints and you test functions within these endpoints. And what you care about is request and response and how fast it is. And in web testing, in the mobile testing, you have sequences. I will show in a minute. Usually, you open your browser, you log in, you do some things, and you log out. And you use this web application you are testing with steps, with sequences of steps. So you have to model in your test script the sequence of steps, not just one endpoint, which can be requested many times a minute or a second. So you remember then first, you have to know that you have to provide sequences. And Locust does that, actually. I will show you how it is done. And as I said, Locust gives you freedom because when you have Python, when you have a library, you can do virtually anything. You know how to do it. And as I said, the better programmer you are, the better test you write. Because primary use was for REST with the request library. We are using it mainly with request library, but you can use it for load testing queues, for load testing web applications with GUI, for example, with Selenium or Playwright. And well, you can load test mobile apps. So this is general picture of Locust. And now I would like to show a very simple example how to write a simple test script. Problem with Locust is that being a library, it has no, for example, tools for recording the throughput. So let me change my application. Okay, and I would like to show you how to test very simple application. This page is for exercises, for doing exercises for certified Selenium tester foundation level, our training course. But I use it to do exercises in my training courses for any test automation tool. Let's see the first exercise, and it's called 3 buttons. And in this exercise, you need to press 3 buttons, button 2, button 1, and button 2. It's generated pseudo-randomly. So when you regenerate this page, you can have different buttons in different steps. So what do we do? Let me show how it's behind the scenes. So press button 2, yeah, then press button 1, then press button 2, and then press check solution. Okay, so here we have trail of what we are doing, and then when I check solution, we need to have B2, B1, B2. We have B2, B1, B2. Let's press check solution. And yeah, we have, okay, good answer. So we did it correctly. And of course, when you do it manually, it's very simple to do. But what we need to do, we need to write a script, test script, which does exactly what we have done, what we have just done. So here we have XHR request for backend, because here we have front end and we have backend. What we during load test, we are simulating requests to the backend, and to have it in Locust in Python file, sometimes it's very long, lengthy process. Sometimes it's very complicated, because here we have only 4 steps. Yeah, and during one of our projects, we had like 140 steps. So you either write by hand 140 steps of Python code, and it's, as you will see, it's not very simple way, or you produce your script automatically or semi-automatically. And what we do here is we save this trail with HAR. Yes, so yes, I will. I have saved it for this talk, so I have it in my IDE. Yeah, here I have PyCharm, and in PyCharm I have HAR with exercise 1. Well, we can look at it, but well, you can see it's very long and not very much complicated, but in a way it's like above 1,000 lines of code. So we do not read that, not yet, at least. To produce Python code from this, we need to use HAR transformer. It's the Angular library which transforms HARs to Python files. And to do that, I would need just to type transform. Transform and transform HAR into Python code. And Python code which is produced is very ugly, as you can see, because transformer tool is for many versions of Locust, and it produces very not concise, because there are 4 steps, but very ugly code. So you can see here that we have a client post. It's post from request library, and we have URL, name, timeout, and headers, and all of this stuff you had in the HARs. So the main work starts here. When you have this proto script, we need to work on it, and we need to produce decent script. And I have produced such a script. I have written it yesterday for this talk, especially. And decent, or well, less ugly script looks like that. So we have a class with a good name, exercise 1 tasks. Then we have startup method where I'm sorry, this is unneeded. Then we have tasks. First, it's opening of the page. Then button 2, and button 1. It's different different buttons because seed here is different. So it doesn't matter. And then button 1, button 2, and exercise solution. So the last, as you can see here, is button 2. Yeah, button, and solution. Yeah, here. And the captcha exercises, exercise 1 solution. Yeah, the same URL. And after the solution, we should have response, and response should be okay, good answer. And then this is a JSON, so we need to have an assertion. Yeah, because if we don't have any assertions, we don't have actually don't have tests. Because doing tests, just clicking, it's, for me as a tester, it's not usually testing. You have to check things. So here, after this clicking 3 buttons, we we take a JSON from the response, and in JSON we take trail and check if it's okay and a good answer. And okay. And I have added several other things to this script, because as you can see here, I have only task 1, task 2, task 3, and task 4. Okay, and other class. I will show you this class in a minute. And what have I added? I have added the self-interrupt. It's crucial because when we use sequential task set here, as I mentioned, when you do web testing and mobile testing, you have to do things sequentially. If you use a task set, not sequential task set, Locust, Locust runs the request randomly. First, fourth, then fourth, then second, and third, and so on and so on. So here we need to have it done in sequence, and after the sequence, we need to return the control to the runner. Because if we didn't use this self-interrupt, yeah, the sequential task set would go round and round and round and round and round, and no, it's not a thing we want to do. And here you can see the breakpoint, because the good thing about Locust library, it's a Python library, so it's Python code. So you actually need to can debug, and it's a very nice feature. If you are able to debug your load test, it's very good. It's easier to write tests when you can debug them. But to debug these tests, we need to add some code at the end. So if name equals main, you know what it is. Most probably, we define the class for debugging, and we run in single user, because during load test, of course, you run multiple users. I will run the test in a minute. Okay, so how much time I have? 12 minutes. So now I will show you how to run these tests, and how can you visualize how tests are running. So let me, yeah, Locust. Okay. Yeah, and the Locust command started Locust web server on 0008089 port. So let me check if anything listens. Yeah, so I have localhost 5. Yeah, okay, so we have Locust, Locust is running, and now in this GUI, we can start the test, we can stop the test, we can observe how tests are running. Let's start it. So we have hosts, it's anti-captcha amberteam.pl, number of users, 1, it's our first run, and spawn rate with users per second, so 1 user per second is okay, start swarming. So now we have tests running. And here we have type of method, get and posts. Then we have name. It's usually good to write meaningful names because if you had URLs here, it would be totally unreadable. How many requests, how many fails, and times, 90th percentile. Yeah, this is our main measure here. Yes. So then we have charts. You can observe in the real time how tests are going. So total requests per second, response time, yeah, it's 180 milliseconds. That's probably okay. And number of users. Okay, failures, none. Exceptions, none. Okay, so that's these 3 tabs are main tabs to steer your tests. So let's, for example, change the number of users to 100. Let's see how it will. Oh, charts will be. Okay, so now we have more and more users. Yeah. So response times are okay. Requests per second go up. Okay, so yeah, you can observe, for example, here that when we start more and more users, we have more and more requests per second, and it's not always the case. If you run many, like for example, 2 weeks ago, we ran tests with 20,000 virtual users. About 4,000 users, the request per second stopped going up. And it means that our system is working slower and slower because we have more users, more virtual users, and the same ratio request per second. Yeah, so you can see here that we had 200 milliseconds. Now we have about 1 second. Okay, so tests are going well, I assume. No, not really. No, not really, because okay. Okay, I could look at this and for very long time, because usually our test sessions are from half an hour to 2 hours. We don't have much time, but you can see that here we can see that something's happening. Yeah, it's well, not really very bad thing, because here we have 100 users and we have 2 seconds round trip. Is it okay with us? Well, actually, we don't know it's okay because we haven't read requirements. Well, tough luck. So let's stop the tests. Okay, tests are stopping. Stopped. Test stopped. We can now download data. For example, we can download this report. You can see as a self-contained HTML file, and that's the second thing I like about Locust, because what I do usually, I download this report and I send it to the client, and my client looks and sees if it's okay with them or not. So going back to our script. First of all, we need to simulate the path. Yeah, I clicked through the exercise, then I saved HAR file to my disk, then I transform it through transform library, then worked on it and refactored it actually to decent script. So that's the way of using Locust generally. Two words about our other libraries we are using. We are using Locust as a main test execution library. We are using HAR transformer for transforming from HARs to Python. Then we use Faker for data, test data preparation, LXML for working with HTML responses, and CSS select for also HTML responses, but looking through HTML with CSS selectors, like you can do that with Selenium. And of course JSON, but JSON is native to Python, so it doesn't need to be imported. Let's go back to my presentation, and the last slide is about testing mobile apps. And testing mobile apps is generally the same as I shown. You do your things on your mobile app. You produce HAR files, and then you transform HAR files to Python code using Locust library, using transformer library and Locust library. But you should be aware of several things, because you have your browser on your PC most often, and you can download HARs from your browser. When you use your mobile application, you cannot download HAR files from your mobile application usually. So what do? We connect our phone and our app to Wi-Fi, our local Wi-Fi, and we set up proxy on our phone. And proxy can be Fiddler or Mitten proxy, man in the middle proxy. We use both, and Fiddler is okay. Man in the middle has less user-friendly user interface, but it's okay also. Their task is to produce HAR files only. And the main problem with mobile application is certificate pinning, because to use these proxy tools, you need to break your SSL HTTPS. So not every application allows that. So you have to be double sure that your application allows to break SSL certificates. And then, as I said, you use transformer to translate to HAR file. So sorry, it should be HAR file, and then to Locust file, and you can run your test from anywhere. So thank you very much. This is all I wanted to tell you about Locust, using Locust and Locust as a library today.